The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with my co-host, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney. Hello, and how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Happy birthday to our guest. Today's your birthday. Tom Richardson, officer with the Dunmore Police Department.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for spending your morning with us. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we review many real estate topics. We have an exceptional real estate office with many relentless realtors who've been guiding, assisting, and advising clients in real estate matters for over 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com, or give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab and see what's going on at Dunmore Corners. And I don't want to see any snow on that camera.
Yeah.
Oh, it's September already. How did this happen?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh,
Yeah, we're having a ball. We're living the dream.
That's it.
Yeah. View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com. That's jruddy.com, where we also have all the podcast apps that we feature this radio show on. And remember social media. We're just about everywhere. Okay. Tom Richardson, officer with the Dunmore Police Department. How long have you been an officer?
21 years.
Wow, that's amazing. It doesn't seem possible.
Goes by quick.
How old you got to be to retire?
55.
Oh man, you're going to be a
You're going
be a
few
dinosaur.
years.
A dinosaur when it's time
Quite
to
a few
go.
years under my belt.
Yeah.
So last week we talked a lot about what the Dunmore Police Department does in the community, with the community, all the programs that you spearhead and participate in, and you have strong community ties. This week I want to talk about how technology has advanced your day-to-day activities, what you do and how you do it. Has social media been a help or a hindrance to you?
So it's both. So social media has helped drastically over the years with getting information out to the public quickly, to identifying people that are involved in crimes, to just finding out what is going on in the neighborhoods, because everybody seems to put everything on social media, and so we find out what's going on with this neighbor not liking that neighbor, or whatever the complaint is of the week on the different social medias out there. But also on that same end of things, it's becoming a problem. They're starting problems on social media because we have the people with the quote unquote name of keyboard warriors, and now we're starting disputes that probably wouldn't have been there or ever existed had we not had social media, and the uptick in crime then from those type things. And then it's also you're on vacation and you're putting the pictures of you and your family saying, oh, our first day or our third day of 7 is so great on the beach, and now everybody in social media land now knows you're on vacation. Nobody's probably home, and so it's good and bad. There's probably a lot more bad out of it. There's the scams that are out there with people posing as others. So they're copying the people's profile pictures, and then they're listing items for sale, and some people know the person, but they don't really know them too well. And it may be somebody they trusted or knew earlier in life, and now they're buying a 2025 Jeep Wagoneer for $3,800 on there.
Just Venmo me the money.
And
that's all.
they're sending a deposit. Yeah. And, they're getting taken advantage of in so many different realms. And it's so hard to identify which is the truth and which is not the truth with social media.
Yeah. And is that something that's swamping our local police departments when things like that happen?
We
is
do.
that who you go to?
Yes, we've been getting calls and again, so we go back to the good of technology. Well, most keystrokes that are done on a computer, there is some type of track on, where they come from, IP addresses and stuff. And, sometimes we can track that down, who the person was that did, do this identity theft per se. But then other times they're rerouted through other countries, and it's so hard to track and trace where your funds that you sent went, or, how, where the items that you thought were for sale really are.
Do the local police departments have the resources to spend the time in order to track these things down? I think it would be such a...
So it is tough because, like I said, we get inundated every day. I mean, there's multiple scams or flim flam type calls that we receive, and it is so hard. And to have the manpower of our police department, where we have 19 full-time officers, it's very difficult for us to follow up on that, because before you know it, the next flim flam, case is coming. But we do try and exhaust every measure we can for everybody and do as much as we can. The problem is most times they come up unfounded because of the fact that, they're rerouted to another country, and we don't have that technology yet.
Yeah, I would think it would bog you down. So how about, in terms of scams, what's the one that's the most popular out there, or the one that you're seeing over and over again that shouldn't be?
So constantly with the phone calls, people are receiving a phone call from an unknown number, or a number that comes up, a county office or borough building, and they're saying that they're with XYZ police department or the sheriff's department, and the person's coming because they have a warrant, unless you go and buy a gift card at Turkey Hill or CVS and you give them the numbers on the back. The newest one now that we're finding is they're telling you that they want you to transfer the money through a Bitcoin ATM, which the Bitcoin ATMs are popping up all over town, and they're done for a legitimate reason, but it's giving the criminal the opportunity to exploit somebody, and people are taking money from their bank accounts, entering it into these ATMs, and then it's being transferred.
Gone forever.
To who knows where, yes.
And another one is people getting money transferred into their Venmo accounts, and they're saying, and then the person will contact you and say, it was a mistake. I transferred $1,000. So sorry. Can you send me back that $1,000? And what they actually did was that they had a stolen credit card. They put it into your account, and then you give it back to them, and then it comes back as stolen, and then you're out the $1,000. So anything like that comes across from many of your accounts saying that it was an accidental transfer, say, okay, well, we're going to leave it for 2 weeks and we'll see what happens. But people want to do the right thing and give it back, because they have a sob story. But that's the way these people operate, and they prey on the weak.
Mm-hmm. Taking advantage of people.
Yep.
And it's nothing new, but boy, do they get creative.
Right.
And sometimes it looks really real. Patrick overheard a phone call he took the other day, and the gentleman identified himself as an officer. Now, Patrick knew it was a scam, and he likes to talk to these people.
He likes the ways he does it.
Yeah. And so, but over and over, he kept saying, I'm an officer with something or another, and we need you to do this and that. And Patrick wasn't having any of it, thankfully. But there are people that think it's a real thing.
They get frightened, yeah.
Yes, and luckily, the word is getting out there. So the clerks inside your stores are now saying to people, just like the bank tellers when you go in and don't usually take a large sum of money out. When you're going into these smaller stores, the clerks there are saying, what is the reason why you're spending $500 on Apple gift cards today, or whatever, Amazon, whatever the gift card of choice is for the scammer that day. And, sometimes just that little bit of, somebody saying, that this is probably a scam, it brings people back, because they make the person nervous. The person doesn't know, what is really happening. They're caught in the moment, and it's just that opportunity of I can't let this happen to me. I can't have the police at my house and me get arrested, or the IRS, or whatever the scammer uses as their line this time around. This person who's maybe elderly or alone and doesn't have somebody to lean on in that moment. But we tell people all the time, and unfortunately, usually it's too late when we're telling them, call us and we'll identify it for you. Whether it is a scammer or if it's a legitimate business or something trying to contact you. And, we'll walk you through the measures that we can.
So these are phone calls, these are texts, these are emails that you're speaking of, right?
Or through social media.
Through social media, a message through social media.
Get a message. Yes.
Right. Okay. And how, that's just the way everybody's on, usually in this area, Facebook, right? So that's how they're targeting people. So, we talked about a way that people do it on through a computer or text. And there's been for years now a text and an email. Don't know if it's the same people that they hit my office, my agents in my office, and they pretend to be me, and they reach out by text that they want. I'm in a private meeting. Please go to the store and get so many gift cards. So they've been doing this. It just seems it's nonstop.
Yes.
But my agents, they know enough to go up and look at that email address, who it's from. It's not my email address, or the phone number that it comes from. It's not my phone number. But they go at great lengths at pretending to be me.
And now, just thinking, we're in September, new set of kids off to college, and you may get a text message or an email or, a social media message from who you believe to be your kid, and saying, hey, I want to buy this app on social media, or I want to buy this app on my phone or something. Can you get me an Amazon or a Apple gift card? And, parents are doing it. So, you think about the distance now, kids gone away to college, and, you're always doing what's right for them. So you just go up to the store, you send it, just like you said, your office personnel thinks it's you in a back room in a meeting. Well, now, these parents or grandparents believe it's, it's their loved one that they're just taking care of.
Right. So, as you're speaking and thinking about artificial intelligence, AI, I'm hearing horrifying, horrific stories about how AI can take somebody's voice and words and put together a message. Have you seen anything like that popping up?
We have not seen it here. On a national level, you do hear about that taking place, but we have not seen it.
Mm-hmm. Good. That is good. I'm sure, though, at some point, that'll be something that we'll be encountering. How about door-to-door scams? You talk about the scams by phone and by email. How about door-to-door scams? Is that still a thing?
Not as much as it was in the past, because of, again, going back to the last show.
Cameras, security.
Yeah, everything's on camera. And, the crimes of opportunity are, we want to hide ourselves as much as we can and not reveal that identity. So the scammers are not coming to your door like they used to. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because you always have, and we get the calls still daily about, who's this guy at my front door soliciting for cheaper energy bills, or, whatever the case may be. And most of the time they are legitimate through an actual legitimate company, and, looking to possibly save you money. But you always want to make sure, especially by calling us, make sure that they got their permit and they are legitimate before you let anybody in, because we can't say that that's going to go by the wayside because of the digital and social media technology, but it is.
It's not happening as much as it did.
Not
once.
as much.
How about porch pirates and packages that are, Amazon or postal deliveries? Do you have many complaints about packages going missing?
We still do get that. Yes, that happens. People are following the UPS truck. They're following the Amazon. You see an Amazon truck in your neighborhood probably 2-3 times a day, no matter which neighborhood you're in. So it's again, and I keep going back to that same. It's that crime of opportunity. And it's there. It's very easily identifiable. Here's an Amazon truck. It just stopped.
Yeah, but how do you know what you're going to steal? Do you know it's a package of underwear, or do you know that it's like something that's an Apple phone?
Yeah, but you don't know. It's like playing lottery, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
And then you're getting it, and it may be found 2 blocks down the road, just like we talked about with the wallets
behind our shed. We have to go
like
behind
that.
I got to go look for some Amazon packages.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, what's the solution? What should people do?
Well, I mean,
to secure their orders.
So Amazon is one of the companies now that offers the drop-off locations. So I understand you're not getting it at your front door, so the convenience is not as easy now. But you can have it dropped off at a designated location, and you can go up. You give the clerk at that store an identifying number, and they'll give you your package then at that point. Or then now the Ring doorbell's being tied in with Amazon. They have the package detection and you're immediately notified, when your package does arrive, so you can either arrange for yourself or somebody else to go and get that package off your front porch as quick as possible.
At one time, you could key your like a garage system to have a certain number for the Amazon delivery, and they could put it inside. And we never did that, but I mean, it's an option, right? So they have their own code, so when they go in, so they can't come in at 2 a.m. In other words.
And I think that package came with a camera that you mounted inside, so that they could identify that they only walked in,
right?
So many steps into your garage and turned around and walked back out, to protect them from the liability also
of entering somebody's. Yeah. Okay. Officer Tom Richardson with the Dunmore Police Department is here with us today. We're having a great conversation. Before we go to break, Pat, would you like to review a listing?
Yes, we have a move-in condition, 3-bedroom, 3-bath home at 1420 Capouse Avenue in Scranton for $229,000. This simplex home was built in 2010, and it sits on a 40 by 167 lot. It's got a private fenced-in yard. This Greenridge home has wall-to-wall carpeting, a modern kitchen. Also included in the sale are a washer, dryer, refrigerator, stove, and air conditioners. That's a 14-year-old, 3-bedroom, 3-bath home at 1420 Capouse Avenue in Scranton for $229,000. And that's listed by Jim Gilhooly of our office.
Thank you, Pat. Our special sponsor this week is 1031 Corp. They help real estate investors defer capital gains when selling and reinvesting in business use or investment property. 1031 Corp is the middleman you need to help you complete a 1031 exchange. And over the 3 decades they've been in business, they have mastered how to keep the exchange process easy for you. Their exchange experts will educate you on 1031 exchanges, review your situation, and walk you through the entire process. If you own an investment or business property, whether it is residential or commercial, contact 1031 Corp to learn how you can exchange into a property that works better for you while deferring the capital gains and depreciation recapture so that you can keep your hard-earned equity working in your next property.
And you have to call them before the sale goes through. You can't call them afterwards.
Right. Visit them at 1031corp.com or call them at 1-800-828-1031. That's 1-800-828-1031. That's a nifty number.
Yeah.
Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be right back after a very brief break.
Who are Century 21 agents? They're high-tech gizmo-packing problem solvers with an appetite for getting things done. They know the best places to buy a home, to sell a home, and to find antiques, if you're into that kind of thing. They're weatherproof, foolproof, and proof positive that smart people doing good work can make big things happen for great folks like you. Oh, and there's one nearby. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. Back in the studio with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back. And Billy, we were just talking about you in case you're listening.
Billy Griffiths, yes. Hello to Billy. And we have with us Officer Tom Richardson, who is celebrating his birthday with us today. Happy birthday once again.
Thank you.
I want some cake.
Officer with the Dunmore Police Department. Thank you. Let's end the show with some first-time homeowners tips from a police officer's perspective. What advice do you have to give, maybe a young couple that just bought their first home? What would you say would be the most important things to focus on from a security standpoint?
So from the security standpoint, and then thinking on the first time they're buying a home, I mean, what are they looking at the home? It's because of curb appeal. But is curb appeal always the safest way of looking at things? I mean, do you have large bushes in the front of your house that, obscure your vision of being able to see what's going on out in the street? If you have a camera, are those, bushes, trees, things like that, are they blocking areas that can open you up or subject you to some type of, burglary or, some type of theft from a porch pirate like we talked about earlier? But also just looking at your house, and when you're looking from the street, what are you able to see? And kind of stepping back and looking from, a neighbor's or across the street. Are the windows wide open? Are there no curtains, no drapes? Are you able to see in? Can you see the movement, what's going on inside the house? Can you see the 75-inch flat screen TV on the wall?
I could sit in your yard and watch the TV. If they have closed captioning on, I'm good.
Right, absolutely. And that's the thing. That's, that you're giving that opportunity and you're presenting what you have.
Make it interesting. People walking by even just looking. You go, oh, look, and see how nice that house is.
Well, I'm guilty of driving by a property and being a little curious when there's nothing on the windows. I like to see inside. And so, I mean, I could be a little nosy once in a while, that curious mind. But, that's a thing these days. It's the decor of the day not to have anything on the windows. And I would think, now I wouldn't do it personally because we're on street level and I'm private. I don't want anybody to be able to see anything. So our windows are covered, but most people don't like that anymore. They like the natural light, bringing it into the home. And I'm all about it. At one point in my life, I lived on the third floor. I didn't have one thing on my windows because I love that natural light and I had a beautiful view. But
nobody could see in.
Nobody could see in unless they climb a tree.
Yes.
But then there was that house behind us, and Tommy's familiar with this, where they didn't have anything on any of the windows, and it was always bright lights, and the yard was dark, dark, dark. And there was a creeper out there. He was, looking through the windows, and it's kind of scary. You think that somebody's coming through the yards looking in the windows.
I still think about that person every single night when I'm putting the blinds down in the kitchen. I think about them being able to see in,
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing worse than when your own privacy is compromised. When you don't feel as though you have that expectation of privacy in your own home. And, when that feels as though that was compromised, that's the worst, feeling anybody can go through.
Yeah.
And, you don't really think about it when it comes to the decor of what window treatments you use and, things like that, because it looks nice or it's in style now. But, you have to think about your privacy and your property and, how to harden the security of that property as much as you can. And
layer it.
Yes.
Security should be layered, right?
Yes.
So one of the things that we tell our buyers, first-time home buyers, any buyer really, is when they get the key at closing for their new house, that they change the locks. I just recently, I couldn't believe I had this conversation with a realtor who's been in the business over 20 years. We were the listing office, she was the selling office, and so the agent that actually was a listing agent for my office was out of town. So this agent, the agent for the buyer, called me about the extra keys, and we got them from the seller for her. And so I said, well, I mean, really, I'll get you the keys, but I'm sure the buyer is going to change the locks. Oh no, he likes to save it. He's a saver. He has no intention on changing the locks.
And you think about that house has just been listed in the newspaper, on the radio, on websites and social media everywhere that it's for sale. And now, that sign is taken out of the yard. They know it's all.
And it's the same key. I don't know. I wouldn't advise a buyer that, but whatever. We didn't represent the buyer, but I would tell them to change the locks. How much does it cost to change?
It's cheap. It's cheap. But if you've ever been an owner of a property and that property has been broken into, it's kind of damaging. It kind of scars you a little bit because you go in there, somebody else has gone through your stuff, and you never.
Traumatic.
It's traumatic, and you never really feel safe in the property again.
Right.
It's really, and if you can avoid that by a few simple steps, I mean, changing a lock is just a few dollars. It's not a lot of money.
No, right. So I just don't understand how people could be that. But everybody likes, I mean, in today's day and age, we're hit with a lot of different costs of living these days. How much has everything gone up? Utilities, gas. We're trying to save money here and there, but that's not the way to do it.
Oh, didn't I just hear that inflation went down? Oh, wait, the rate of inflation went down. Inflation didn't go away. It's just not going up as fast. Oh, okay. Washington would never lie to me.
Oh, yeah, but they're the same people that say the economy's good.
That's great.
Yeah, and I know people that are working 3-4 jobs just to make ends meet. So, and I'm sure that ties into what you do every day, Tom Richardson, officer with the Dunmore Police Department, right? I mean, Crime. Is it up? Is it down? Is it steady? What is it?
It staggers. It
comes in waves.
Yes. Yeah. You never know, what is going to be the next. But, we're talking about now, the safety and security of being in your own home. So, we go back to the opportunity, and, you don't want to, when that uptick comes around, that people are looking for money to, support a habit or, whatever the case and point is for them to do that. You don't want to give them that opportunity to, to think that you're a softer target of a home to break in or a car that's left unlocked.
Lock your doors, lock your car doors, even if it's in a garage.
Yes.
I do. I lock my car every day.
That's right. Turn on your outside lights.
Yeah, keep it well lit. And if you don't have the budget for a sophisticated security system, go with the Ring doorbell.
Ring doorbell, or whatever doorbell cameras. There's so many on the market now, and they're all app-based. So somebody comes on your front porch or wherever you have the camera.
You get an alert.
And whether you pay for their subscription or not, the alerts are still going to come through. And, at least then you can have a real-time live view of what's going on at your house.
Good stuff. Thank you, Tom Richardson, officer with the Dunmore Police Department, and a very happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
Pat?
We have 1.25 acres of land for sale at 216 O'Hara Road in Springbrook Township for $45,000. This wooded lot is 156 by 368, and it is located in the North Pocono School District. It's only minutes away from the Dunmore-Scranton area. You're close to all of the amenities, but yet you're in the country. That's 1.25 acres of land on O'Hara Road in Springbrook Township for $45,000, and that's listed by Karen Kashuba of our office.
Join us next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. for more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate and 94.3 The Talker.